What's up, guys? We are Dingers with the Boys. I'm Tim. I'm here with the nanny, the Ginkle, Kyle.
Yo, what's up? How's it going, everybody? Like Tim said, you're listening to Dingers with the Boys. We're going to be talking about a lot of various sports topics, just general discussions. Me and Tim are both Colorado natives, been Colorado sports fans our whole life. So we're definitely going to be talking about Colorado sports as well. Uh, but let's just dive straight into it. The first thing we want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets. Our huge success early, starting 8-1, and we've just been dominating.
Yeah, it's such a fun time to be a Nuggets fan right now. We were both at the banner raising at the beginning of the year, first game, and one of the coolest games I've been to. We've been to so many games throughout the years, and that was probably one of my favorite games I've really ever been to.
I'm pretty sure both of us might have cried.
Yeah, for sure.
When they're showing the banner raising and the
and just being
ceremony.
Being a Nuggets and Denver fan for so long. The Avs, they've obviously won a few times. Broncos, Rockies, that's been rough, but the Nuggets have been so close. And when we were a little younger, they came close in the Western Conference Finals in 2009, and I think it just meant so much to us. And I would say for both of us, the Nuggets are definitely our top team. We like all of the sports, but
definitely got to support them all. But yeah, for sure, the Nuggets hold a special place in our heart.
Yeah, and the atmosphere was just crazy that first game. It was so fun. We went to game one of the finals as well last year, and it felt like that.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets just came out strong. We kind of thought that they were gonna possibly not come out as strong.
Yeah, we definitely thought they were gonna be a little slow, a little like it might take them a while, like being the first game. And I mean, there was so much, it almost seemed like pressure on that first game, because I don't know if it's just the Lakers being a rival and a big matchup over the last few years. I know Anthony Davis was talking a lot in the off season.
Yeah,
him and LeBron.
I think any game with LeBron in it, it doesn't matter if it's the first game, 10th game, last game, whatever. It's just there's something about it being one of the greatest players to ever play. It's just fun to be at, and you want to beat those teams. And the Lakers also have beat us so many times in the playoffs and everything, especially with Kobe throughout the years. And it was finally so awesome to break through, and we won the championship and just been killing it ever since. We're 8-1 to start the season.
And I think like a big reason why the Nuggets didn't come out flat or anything is probably because of the fans. Like you said, it almost felt like playoff atmosphere in that game one. And which is just crazy to think about, because we're nowhere even close to playoffs. This is literally the first game of the season.
Yeah.
But yet it's still feeling like, hey, this is a very important game.
Yeah.
Like, this is intense. Like, so I think that, like, the Nuggets have always drove off of the fans. And I mean, every team does, but I think the fans didn't really let the Nuggets come out flat.
Yeah.
I think they were, like, loud from the start.
Yeah.
And
I think in the past, too, other NBA players have said Denver has a great home court advantage, and that was even when we didn't win the championship. So I think this just adds to it, and Denver's definitely a sports town, and whoever says not is crazy.
The I
Broncos,
know there's a lot of people saying, oh, there's just a lot of bandwagoner fans in Denver, but I think there's a lot of old fans that have been Denver Nuggets fans for years that now we're finally like coming out, basically. Like, this is our time.
Yeah. And I know me and you have been to games where it seems like there's a few thousand, and that's rough, but not anymore. And that there might be some bandwagons for sure, or fans that didn't come before but now, hey, we're good, all right, we'll come. Like, they they cheered for us before, but now it's fun to watch them. So obviously, but I went to the game, the Pelicans game the other night, and the fans seemed just as much into it that game, and it's a different time. It never felt. We were down by 20 in the second quarter, and the fans were still getting into it. They were cheering, they were excited, and even though being down 20, I was getting a little worried there, but the way we finished the second quarter, we brought it within 12, I believe. It was at halftime. Yeah. And those last few minutes of the second quarter really picked it up. And then in the third, we outscored them 40-21. Which
that second half, they outscored them 75-45.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like,
yep.
If you're just looking at the box score, we ended up killing them. We won by, 16, 18?
Yeah, 18 points.
If you look at that, you would never believe that they were down by 20 at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where this year it just feels different. It's hard for me to say, but maybe we're even better than what we were last year, and we won the championship.
Yeah, which
at least a start for sure.
There was definitely a lot of concerns losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green. That losing those two veteran pieces, and those were two big pieces in the Denver Nuggets run to the championship, and that losing those two guys would be a big hurt. It would hurt us a lot. But yeah, like Tim, you say, like it almost seems like we haven't lost a beat and we haven't lost a step, and we're right there where we were last year.
Yeah, and with losing those guys, obviously it's tough. Bruce Brown, especially in the playoffs and late in the season, played ridiculously good. He was definitely a big part of the reason why we won the championship and looked so good. But we do got a few new players that have stepped up for sure in those spots. And I think one of them is MPJ. His defense, everybody was always worried about his defense, but this year he's definitely stepping up and he's going for rebounds. Yeah. Which, he'd get a few here and there, but he is actually actively...
It's like something is switched. And I think it all started last year in the playoffs when he went to Coach Malone and basically told him, like, hey, use me as you see, like, best for the team. Like, he's becoming more of a team player instead of a me type player, which I think that's why it's showing that he's stepping up and doing a lot better. Because he's willing to go for those rebounds and he's willing to go for those defensive stops. And I mean, rebounding and defense is such effort driven things that when you have that effort, the skill comes like with it as well. And we all know MPJ has the skill.
Yeah. And this year he's averaging, as of right now, 8 rebounds a game, which is great. If he could keep that up, and like you said, just sometimes rebounding is just effort, going for the balls and doing what you need to
Jokic all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, Jokic is still going to do it. He's still going to like go for every rebound that he has within arm's reach.
Yeah.
But just that it doesn't have to be Jokic every single time is huge for this Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah, and like you said, MPJ has the skill. There was a reason that he was projected to go top 3 pick before his back injury that cost him his college season. He is an amazing player. He's an amazing shooter, but there's definitely times that he just gets, like you said, kind of a feel to it. But this year it seems different, and I don't know if that's just he sees what we can be, or if it's just him kind of growing up a little bit. He's still shooting quite a bit, but he's not shooting those shots where you see him get the ball and you're like, oh my gosh, he's going to shoot this, and you just kind of put your head down, and if he makes it, awesome, but if he misses it, it's like, why are you making that shot? You have 2 guys on you. And playing with Jokic, you got to know the ball will probably come back to you, especially if you cut and everything. You see that with AG. I think AG is the great compliment for Jokic.
Yep.
I was always a fan of him when he was with Orlando, but when we traded for him, I think that could be one of the biggest trades in Nuggets history.
Agreed. Yeah.
I don't think we win the championship without AG, honestly.
No.
And he does not care about scoring, really. I mean, yeah, he will, but it's not a big thing. He wants to win, and he'll do what's necessary for us to win. He'll guard the best player. If he needs to score, he will kind of be a scorer.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest shooter or anything, but he does get finishes around the rim. He's a great cutter, which he knows that Jokic is gonna give him the ball, and so it's just so fun. He's probably my favorite player, honestly, on the Nuggets, and I love AG. He's the people's player,
Agreed.
really.
Yeah. I think just going into it, you can just see on a daily basis the team chemistry that the Denver Nuggets hold is off the charts. You look at them and it's like they generally enjoy playing with each other. They love it.
Yeah.
It's like they're playing pickup games, and they just work so well with each other. Off the ball, on the ball. They just know, hey, this person is going to be here when I do this.
Yeah.
So they can utilize that against their opponents.
Yeah.
And I think going into team chemistry is, I think, a big reason why players like MPJ are stepping up, because you don't want to be the person on the team that is always taking the bad shots, or you're always letting up big defensive plays, because you don't want to be that guy that kind of all the other teammates look at and be like, oh, well, if this person would have just put in a little bit more effort or done this thing differently, then maybe the outcome would be different. So yeah. I think every single person on the team, when they're playing at their fullest effort, then they are a very tough team to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the one loss that we have this year versus Minnesota. That game, honestly, from the whole game, it just didn't look like anybody really had the effort.
Yeah.
It seemed like Minnesota came in, their whole job was, hey, we're going to
I think we were tired too a little bit.
I mean, we did have a rough schedule, but it just seems like the effort wasn't there in that Minnesota game.
Yeah.
And that's why we struggled.
Well, and like you said, I know you're talking about the Minnesota game, but like you said, with the chemistry and people knowing where they're going to be, I think that was huge with Strother in the New Orleans game. He shot 5 for 9 from 3 for 21 points. And he knew Jokic was going to give him the ball, or somebody else was going to give him the ball. So he'd pass it in, go spot up a few feet away, and everybody looks down to Jokic or AG or MPJ. Well, he's wide open for the 3.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes with the chemistry, like you were just saying as well.
Yeah, and Jokic is always going to be like, hey, I don't care if you are a rookie. If you're open, I know you can make this shot.
Exactly.
So I'm going to pass it.
And I think that's where with AG and MPJ, especially MPJ this year, he's looking for the best basketball play.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's him or if it's somebody else. They're looking for the best basketball play.
Yeah.
Like you said, in the Minnesota game, you're going to have those games every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you can't win them all.
Exactly. As much as I want to go 82-0, it won't happen.
Now we can just go 81-1.
Yeah, exactly. Good. And so it's just... Yeah, I think you have some of those games, and you got to just hope that you're not going to have a ton of those games, or it goes to the next game.
Yeah.
And it really didn't, And Minnesota's a great team. Rudy Gobert is playing great. He's averaging
one of the best defensive teams too.
Yeah, I mean, Rudy Gobert's averaging 13 points a game, which is...
That's pretty good.
Or 13 rebounds, sorry, not points. 13 rebounds, and he, honestly, playing against Jokic, he played great.
Maybe
They're
for
averaging
the first time in his career.
yeah, exactly. As a team, they're averaging 6.4 blocks, which ranks them fifth in the league. Nuggets are at 6.3, which is awesome. They are blocking the ball very good.
Yeah, whoever said Jokic doesn't play defense, by the way. His defensive numbers are pretty good.
He is playing great. Minnesota's actually technically the number one defense in the league right now. They're only averaging 101.1 points per game that they're giving the other team. So it's not like that was just a slouch team that...
Yeah. Minnesota is a very good team that if you underplay them, they will beat you.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have great people. And I mean, Ant-Man, he's a great player.
He always seems to want to play well against Denver, too.
Exactly. And I think that, especially with the playoffs last year, they kind of wanted to show, hey, we can beat this team. It's not just...
I mean, there was all that talk with Cat saying what they did was better than what Nuggets did. Which, to me, that's just...
doesn't make sense.
Malarkey, but...
Yeah, they just want to take it off the Nuggets and put it on themselves. But I did find it interesting, too. The Nuggets actually, like you said, their defense is doing really good. They're only averaging 106 points to the opposing team, which seems like a lot, but that's fourth in the league right now. They're 13th in rebounds, so right in the middle of the pack, but it's not like they're just giving up easy buckets or giving up a ton of offensive rebounds or anything like that. But last night, we kind of went from New Orleans and we were talking about some other players, but last night, the Nuggets beat the Warriors 105-108. Crazy game. It was
a very good game.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. We were up by 6 at halftime, and then the Warriors actually came back and took the lead going into the fourth. And we kind of just kept playing. And last night, it was probably a game that we honestly probably shouldn't have won. Just in the past, just how we've played. And it just kind of seemed like we were a little off. And the last 3 minutes of that game was insane. I know you didn't get to watch too much of it, but the last few minutes of the game were just insane. There was a block the AG had against Curry, and it was weird. The Warriors got so mad that I don't know if they thought it was a goaltending, if they thought he got fouled, but it looked completely clean. It looked like he just completely blocked him, and that's what AG does. He blocks so much stuff, and it was funny because the very next play down, Reggie Jackson comes down and Golden State gets called for a goaltending against him. And so I think that made him even more mad. Yeah. But that was a huge sequence there because you think they get two or they don't get two and we get two right off the bat. It's a 4-point swing right there. And that's huge. Right around that time as well, MPJ and AG were fighting for a rebound. And it's funny because it was just those two. They fought for it, got it away from each other, and a Warrior player got it, but he was going out of bounds, so he had to try to throw it in, and AG steps in and gets the steal. And that's where, like we were saying earlier, the effort is just there. Because usually it's like, man, we just messed up, and we fought for it, so we just stopped playing. Yep. But they kept going, and AG got the steal. We got the ball, he got it to Reggie, and they fouled Reggie.
Probably should have had a little bit more communication and not trying to steal the ball away from teammates.
Yeah.
But yeah, the effort was definitely there, and
I think the Holiday played last night as well, and he played really good defense. It looked like, and he hit a big three. He missed one, came back a couple possessions later, and hit a huge three with 6-7 minutes to go. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was good to see him. And
yeah, I think with that, I think it's good to see Coach Malone kind of mixing and matching pieces and different players, and
kind of see what's going on.
Was definitely thinking Strother might play a lot, which he did play, but I think the reason why Holiday was brought in the end was, if you noticed, Strother was finally getting picked on on like defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Golden State was switching on him constantly, and him and Christian Brown's like communication was just not great.
Yeah.
And Golden State was getting a lot of easy looks and a lot of easy baskets because of it, which, knowing Coach Malone, he hates that stuff.
Yeah.
He hates seeing that. It's a big reason why there is this belief that Malone doesn't like playing rookies. It's because of plays like that just gets under Malone's skin. But
yeah. Yeah, and that's where he could have brought Holiday in because of the veteran presence, and he knows that
like
he's going to be reliable. And
Holiday probably knows a little bit more of like the IQ type of stuff when it comes to NBA basketball, that, hey, I got to be here and do this, whereas Strother just doesn't have that yet because he's a rookie. Like,
yeah.
It's understandable that he's getting somewhat abused on the defensive side because Golden State is a very veteran-minded team that they have very high IQ players that they're going to be able to exploit stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve Kerr is a very good coach that he can definitely see those things and pick them apart.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I know they've been playing basketball their whole lives, but it's definitely a different game once you get to the NBA and the coaches and everybody. It's the best players in the world. And it is rough when you don't do great on defense because, you can score, but if you are scoring 2 every time down and your opponent's scoring 2 every time down, it's not really helping us as much. And I think that's where you see KCP, and KCP has been great this year. His defense is amazing.
Yeah, hopefully he should be an all-defensive NBA.
I think it's very attainable, especially because you see who he's guarding.
Yeah,
and
he's tasked with guarding the number 1 player on every single team.
Exactly, and he's averaging 1.9 steals, about 2 steals a game, which is great.
KCP did like very well against Curry too.
Yeah, he's 6th in steals for the league right now, and I think that could honestly go up. I think he could be the number 1 in steals by the end, and it helps with him. KCP and AG both play great defense, and one of them, Aaron Gordon, can usually play some of the bigger guys, and KCP can guard some of the guards, faster people, and just working together. But KCP is shooting 43% from the 3-point line, which is awesome. He only takes about 4 a game, but I'd like to see that number go up a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, maybe it will with Jamal Murray being out.
Yeah,
definitely offense.
Yeah, and
need to change some things. But.
Like you said last night on Curry, he played so good, and
Curry only ended up with 23, which is well below what he's averaging. Curry's averaging.
Yeah, he's averaging
30
well
above
points.
30 plus.
Yeah,
and he's in early MVP talks right now, just of how well he's playing. So
yeah,
the fact that KCP can go in and shut him down, if you think about it, he still scored 23, but
that's not
that's
bad.
Still a lot better than 35, which is very capable from Curry, especially with how he's playing.
Exactly, yeah. And on the one of the last plays of the game, Jokic, he missed two free throws with 14 seconds left. Curry comes down, and they actually have to take a timeout because they can't get the ball in, which was their last timeout. And I think that ended up being huge. But Curry comes in, and he ends up not shooting a 3. KCP's on him. He ends up not shooting a 3 and going up for a layup, which he ended up getting open, but we were on him for sure. And he misses the layup, which you don't see very often. I'm really surprised that he didn't shoot the 3. Granted, they were only down by 2 at the time, but just knowing Curry. And
I mean, he was 6 from 13 from threes. So
yeah,
it's not like he was shooting bad that night.
yeah. But we get the rebound. Reggie Jackson ends up getting the free throws. He goes 1 for 2. So we missed 3 free throws in the last 14 seconds.
Yeah.
And we won by 3. So that's just rough, but he goes 1 for 2, 3.5 seconds left. And I think that's where that timeout's huge too, that Golden State already used.
You can't progress the ball.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't draw something up. And sometimes it's open. And I think Klay Thompson they got the rebound. Klay Thompson went out and he just fumbled the ball and kind of got lucky because he's a great shooter as well. But if they could have drew something up, then
who knows?
It could have been Curry or it could have been Thompson, but they would have at least gotten a shot off, like an actual quality shot probably.
Yeah,
but
and who knows what happens if it goes into OT.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it helps we're undefeated at home. We're playing amazing at home, and like we were saying earlier, just the atmosphere and everybody's so into it.
The one thing I will say about that game last night versus Golden State, it definitely Jokic just took over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could tell that from all the young players on the Nuggets that they were honestly just looking for Jokic. Like, hey, can you just do this? Like, you could see that Christian Braun was playing nervous.
Yeah.
Strother was playing nervous.
Well, it's crazy because Jokic had 35 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, but he also had 3 steals and a block.
He had a huge third quarter, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had 12 or 14 points in that quarter alone.
Yeah.
Might have had more. I don't know for sure. But
It's so funny because without the points, say Jokic would have scored 26-27, we're probably saying, he didn't play the greatest. It's so funny. It's like the Jokic effect because we're almost expecting him to get a triple-double or one every single game. And
the soundboard double.
Yeah, it's crazy. But he just does whatever is needed.
Yeah. And you could tell last night that there was multiple plays or times down the court that he's literally just like, just get me the ball.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do to stop me.
And that's where Looney played pretty good, I think, against him.
Same with Sarek.
Yeah. Yep. But they really don't have somebody, especially with Draymond Green out. They didn't really have anybody that could guard Jokic. And I don't even know if Green can really either, but he's so physical. And I think I think Green just gets under people's skin. Exactly. And I think Looney did great last night against Jokic. And he still had 35, which is crazy. But Jokic, man, his triple doubles against New Orleans, he got his 108th triple double, which moved him into 4th place ever, and he did it in 604 games, which for comparison, LeBron has 107, and it took him 1,428 games. Yeah. And everybody knows how great LeBron is.
LeBron is the GOAT.
He's
the best.
Even if people say that no, he's not great or anything, it's you got to watch basketball. He's a great player, mm-hmm. And even if you like him or don't, you can't. He's good, and everybody says that he flops and everything, but I'm a homer, but I think Jokic flops sometimes too. I think everybody does.
I think every single superstar does it. Honestly,
exactly.
Even not superstars.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way the NBA is now.
Yep.
It's a lot more, hey, if I do this, I get called, so why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah. The crazy thing about the triple-double thing with him in 604 games, he didn't start until December of his 2nd season, which is, a little over 100 games, which is crazy to think.
How many games LeBron had.
Exactly, and not even just LeBron. The top 6 it goes Russell Wilson, or not Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook, Oscar Robinson, got Magic Johnson, Jokic, LeBron, and Jason Kidd. And it's crazy, actually, in the games that those 6 get triple-doubles, Jokic has the biggest winning percentage. His winning percentage in his triple-double games is 81.5%, which I found that really interesting. Magic is second with 78.3, LeBron 76.6, Russ 73.2, Oscar 72.4, and Jason Kidd 71.0. But that's crazy. We win at least 8 out of 10 games that Jokic has a triple-double.
And he's almost averaging a triple-double.
Yeah. This year he's averaging...
a little bit less.
But... Yeah, I mean, he's getting 29.1 points, 12.9 rebounds, and 8 assists. Yeah. So his assists are a little down, but I think that also could be attributed to some of the rookies. Just, and they get a little nervous, but also... Jamal being out is killer. And I know he started the season, but now that's a huge guy to replace, honestly. Yep. You got him averaging 16 points a game, and he can definitely take over.
Assist way.
Exactly.
Assist wise, and he's good defensively too.
Yeah. I think sometimes he can get a little...
I think he can get lazy.
Lazy, exactly. Defense, yeah, he can get a little lazy, but overall, I think he does play good.
When the effort is there,
And I think it helps when Jamal is almost mad.
Yeah.
When somebody fouls hard or starts talking smack to him or something, he definitely picks up his game, and I love it. It's great. Blue Arrow, but he's gonna... They're thinking that he's going to be out possibly the rest of November.
Yep.
Which is that's a killer, Yeah.
Other players are definitely going to have to step up.
Exactly. And like we've already talked about, KCP, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, those guys, they definitely have to step up, but those are kind of ones that you expect to step up, and obviously Jokic. But Reggie Jackson, he is filling in great as the backup point guard. Well, now he's the starter as of right now. In the last few games that he's started, he's been playing great, honestly. He's shooting all right from 3-point. He's around 36%. Nothing too crazy. Just for reference, Steph Curry shoots 47.3% from 3-point, which is crazy, and you probably could say that he's having not as good of a shooting right now, just percentage wise, but
Curry also has a lot more volume.
Exactly. Yeah. Reggie Jackson, he's doing around 4 a game, which I don't think is a bad thing. But he definitely is getting to the rim. I think he made a comment the other day. He said when playing with Jokic, it's easy for him to make you look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it is to a point. However, I think Reggie's stepping up great. His defense is overall pretty good. And then he's definitely doing pretty good on offense, at least. The biggest thing, I think, with point guards, especially somebody that's not looked to as a scorer per se, is don't turn the ball over. Don't make stupid passes. Yeah. Don't make even stupid shots or anything like that. You have to command the offense. And that's where it does help with Jokic because he sometimes brings up the ball. But Reggie Jackson's only doing 1 turnover a game, which, you're always going to get those turnovers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he's honestly doing great. And I think he's stepping up pretty good overall. And then you got Christian Brown, which he's not much of a scorer, but he can definitely, he's a hustler.
Yeah, he makes the hustle plays. He's going to get to the rim, going to go after rebounds. He runs in transition.
I think with him and Gillespie, they really know if they cut to the basket, and even Peyton Watson as well, if they cut to the basket, they're going to get the ball. Yeah. Especially if they pass to, I know we keep saying Jokic, but obviously he's the cornerstone of our team, and if they pass it to him, they will get the ball if they cut, because most of the times he can get you the ball and you can get open, and that's just huge, honestly.
The one thing that you'll just notice when watching Gillespie and Christian Brown and Peyton Watson is just their nervousness on, do I take this shot or do I drive, or it's just sometimes they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
At certain times.
Yeah.
But as the more they play and the more they learn, I mean, they've definitely shown that they're learners. They're trying to learn the game, and
the more you play with that core too,
yeah.
the more comfortable you will get. So yeah, that's good. But let's talk about the upcoming schedule a little bit.
Yep.
We got Houston on Sunday, which is nice. We have a 3-day break, which I know Jokic's wrist is a little messed up, so that helps. And we've played 9 games, which is the most in the NBA. There's been a few other teams that have played 9 as well, but it's definitely a much needed rest. But what do you think, Houston? How do you think we're gonna do? When every week we're gonna kind of give our Nuggets picks for sure. Just tally it up, see how we do up against each other. But I'll let you go first. We got Houston on Sunday. I
think Houston, on paper, obviously will probably be huge favorites. But I think Houston can definitely be a dangerous team. I think they're going to be one of those teams that, hey, if you don't show up and you don't play and you kind of undersell them, Houston is going to win. I mean, last night they just obliterated the Lakers. They killed them.
Yeah, they're a young team and they don't have anything to lose. They're a young
team. They don't have anything to lose, so they're going to play hard. They're going to play fast. They got really good shooters on the team.
I'll be honest, when Fred Vliet went there, I didn't think he was going to do that much, but I think he's commanded that team to do. So, all right, what do you think? They're going to win or lose?
I think they're going to win, but they definitely need to play to their potential or else they can be upset for sure.
Yep. I'm going to go with a win as well in Houston. I actually think that we're going to win pretty handily this game. I do think that they are definitely a team that could end up upsetting some teams for sure. I'm going to say that we're going to win by double digits. That's my guess on Houston. Clippers is the next home game. That's in-season tournament next Tuesday. You want to go first? You want me to?
I'll go first. I think this is going to be a easy win, honestly, for the Nuggets. Plumlee is out, so Clippers they still have Zubac, but definitely going to be hurting on big men. I did see some talks. They're trying to maybe make a trade or do something to fill that void. But
yeah, I saw possibly the Pacers backup or something like that.
But yeah, I don't think like Clippers will really be able to slow down Jokic. I think it's going to be a lot like this Golden State game, and Denver definitely has the advantage being at home. So I think they get the win.
So you're going to think? Are you saying pretty handily then?
I think it's going to be maybe not on the scoreboard handily, but I think Denver will basically control the game the whole time and get the win.
I had a tough one with this one, and honestly, if we were in LA, I think I would actually pick the Clippers, but I'm going to say that we're going to win as well. I think it's going to be a very close game, though. We definitely, the big guys, Jokic should have a heyday with them. However, I think Kawhi, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Harden, I think they could definitely show us some problems. I think we could have some problems.
It's not going to be easy. But...
I think we're going to win that one as well. I think it's going to be less than 5. That's my guess. So we both have Nuggets going up 2-0 in the next couple games. Pelicans we have next Friday, which hopefully we have another podcast by then, but we'll go ahead and talk about it right now just to make sure we get it in. I actually think we're going to lose to the Pelicans on Friday. We're going into New Orleans. We just played them, and they were killing us until the third quarter, really.
Yeah.
And Zion almost was 1 point from a triple-double, which Zion, I love watching Zion play. I know some people don't, but when he is healthy, I think New Orleans is tough team. And Hawkins played great for them. Ingram played great. I was surprised Valanciunas, they left him out for a while. I know he had 4 fouls, but They left him
I
out
noticed
for
they
a while.
do that a lot.
Yeah,
Like
and
Larry Nance.
Yeah, I think that he was playing pretty good against Jokic,
Yeah.
actually. Jokic is still getting his numbers, obviously, but overall, I thought he was disrupting him pretty good. And so they took him out, and Zion actually played Jokic for a while, which was kind of weird to me. But I think the Nuggets are going to lose that game, unfortunately, just being in New Orleans. And
I could see that for sure as well. It's really hard to beat the same team twice that close to each other.
Yep.
Because you make the adjustments, you make the changes that you need. And I mean, Pelicans, they have injury troubles with McCollum out. So if he is able to come back, I think it's a possibility that he's back by this game.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's out for a while. I know he has the collapsed lung. I'm not sure what the timetable on that is. Yeah. But so what do you? I'm saying a loss. What do you think?
I could see them losing that game for sure.
All right, so we're saying me and Kyle picked the same this week. We think we're winning against Houston, winning against the Clippers, losing against the Pelicans. And now, so every week we're gonna try. Kyle's a big bettor. We're gonna kind of. I know we can't see the lines really right now. However, Kyle's going to kind of talk some trends, what he's thinking, possibly some good bets around would be, some teams, players. So we're going to give Kyle's trends for the upcoming week.
Yep, so we're going to be looking at just certain bets to kind of exploit, certain matchups to look at. So first we got Washington versus shooting guards. They're allowing the most points to opposing shooting guards at 27.9 points per game. Their upcoming schedule, they play Charlotte, Brooklyn, and Toronto. Players to maybe look at, Cam Thomas. I know he is kind of like injured.
Cam Thomas, he's actually out for 2 weeks. I just saw that right before we came on. They said he's projected to be out 2 weeks. So
maybe like LaMelo Ball. He could have a pretty good game. I know he's a point guard, but still that could be a player to look for. Next, Milwaukee versus small forwards. They're allowing 28.2 points per game. They play Orlando and Chicago. This could be DeMar DeRozan, Franz Wagner, two players that could exploit their lines. Wagner lines are usually between like 15 and 20. DeRozan usually around like 20 to 22 about. So they could hit those lines. Next, Memphis versus point guards. They're allowing 27.7 points per game. This is actually kind of surprising. Definitely bringing in Marcus Smart. I thought they would be a lot better versus point guards, but so far hasn't shown. They play the Clippers, the Lakers, and then the Spurs. Don't really see anybody on the Spurs point guard wise that can exploit this matchup, but Lakers, you have Russell, and Clippers, you have Harden. This maybe will be Harden's first game that he actually goes over 25. Utah versus power forwards. They play Portland, Phoenix, and then Phoenix again. Maybe Jeremy Grant. Probably that game will probably be a offensive shootout. So Jeremy Grant could have a big game. And then finally, a Chicago versus centers. They're allowing 23.4 points per game, but 18 rebounds per game. So they played Detroit, Milwaukee, and Orlando. Detroit, Jaren Duren, he is a double-double machine, especially when he has a good matchup, and lines will probably be favorable for that. Milwaukee, Giannis could have a good rebounding game. Obviously, will be able to score as well. Mm-hmm. But those are just my thoughts on the upcoming weeks and upcoming week of sports betting in the NBA.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, he definitely knows what he's talking about on bets and everything, and hopefully some of those will hit for you guys. That's pretty much all we got today. Next week, we're hopefully talking about the in-season tournament. We'll talk about the games that have been played. We've already had one day of games being played. We got some more tomorrow, and then next
By next
Tuesday.
week, we're going to have more.
Yep. So we'll have a few to talk about. We'll kind of talk about what we think about the jerseys, the floors, just kind of
what we think of the tournament in general.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it more once the championship comes up and everything, but just kind of what our thoughts are on the tournament and everything. And so, yeah, but if you guys could give us a like or follow or share with your friends, we are Dingers with the Boys. That's Dingers with the Boys with a Z, Boyz.
There's also going to be, there's a question and answer in there. You can post questions, and maybe in next week's episode if we can answer them. So
yeah, that would be great. We'd love fan interaction. We are on Spotify and YouTube as of right now. And like I said, just share with your friends. We'd love to keep giving you guys our insights on sports. Well, we will see you later, alligators.
yeah, see ya.
Peace.
Peace.